Well, guys, my name is Wayne Dell, and welcome to the Stalking Shadows podcast. So, guys, I've got an interesting topic for you guys today. Excuse me if I start sweating. It's a blistering 36 degrees here today on the farm, and I'm in one of our little cabins, which is my makeshift podcast studio, so we can do all these films or podcasts as everyone enjoys listening to. So it's going to get a bit hot, it's going to get a bit sweaty, and this might be because of the topic, but let's dive into it. So, guys, this week I wanted to tell you guys about agents, wannabe outfitters, and we'll maybe touch a little bit on the tipping side of things. So, the big one that we will start with is agents. Guys, the industry revolves around marketing, getting people to market for you. And don't be alarmed when you hear that people are getting a few bucks for referring you to a specific company. Because as all outfitters, we offer commission to past clients to refer people to us, to tell people about our industry, to tell people about the places that they've hunted, and that's probably our best form of marketing. And guys will approach us after having a safari with us and say, can we become an agent for you? And normally it's a past client, or it may be a big company like Cabela's, or endorsed by somebody else, or another sporting goods place, or whatever. But they all get commission from the outfitters after a safari, whether it be as little as 5%, right up to some places that are wanting 50% for any referrals of customers, or customers that are booked through them to hunt with you. So this is a big one as a potential client wanting to book in South Africa, and where I say these wannabe outfitters. Guys, there are strict laws in hunting in South Africa, and if you are booking with a outfitter, in inverted commas, for those who are watching on our YouTube channel, there are guys that are out there across the pond that say they are outfitters in Africa, and they actually aren't even an outfitter in Africa. They have a outfitter in Africa that they go to, and they will be booking clients in whatever country they're in, and then bring them out to South Africa, and they are the outfitter. But they're actually legally not allowed to be the outfitter. They are using a outfitter and their lodge and premises at the time they are here. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to signing or finalizing that hunt, there needs to be a registered outfitter and professional hunter in the province that they will be hunting in South Africa. Look, guys, I'm going to be talking basically around the South African law of things here. Things are very different when you cross the borders. I know from chatting with a buddy of mine that even as a South African outfitter crossing the borders to go and hunt in one of these other African countries, call it, Tanzania and places like that, or Mozambique, things are run very differently there. So, I can't speak on that, but I can speak on hunting in the Eastern Cape of South Africa and throughout South Africa. As I know, as myself, as an outfitter, I cannot conduct a hunt in the Northern Cape or the Free State or Limpopo with my license, as I, as a guard, am registered as a Eastern Province guard with the Eastern Province law to my name, hence the reason I can outfit here, and I've done my license here. So being an outfitter, guys, when I did mine, things haven't really changed much since then. You need to be a registered guard in the province that you're in, that you are hunting, and an active guard before you can apply to be a outfitter, a hunting contractor, as they call it, with the government. So you've got to have a minimum of 3 years, I think. It might be 4 years now. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's 3 to 4 years of active guarding before you can apply to be a hunting contractor. REEI, outfitter, for example, that's an outfitter. So that is how it works. And like I said, I cannot go and hunt in Limpopo. I'm not licensed there. So in other words, my outfitting license won't work there. That is my understanding. So there might be a bunch of guys that jump onto this podcast and want to correct me. From what I've read up and what I understand is that you as a professional hunter, where you licensed, when you apply for an outfitters, that's where your outfitters is valid. So as I call them, these wannabe outfitters, there are a lot of these American guys that are outfitters, and they're outfitters for South Africa. They're not. They're just glorified agents, guys. So be, warned, or I'm not say warned, but keep your eyes open for these, because an American, an international, cannot be a contracted outfitter here in South Africa unless he is a registered guard in the province that he's in, and obviously he has to be an active guard. Anyone in the world can come and do our professional hunter's license. That's, they've got no issues with that. As someone might correct me and say it isn't, but we had international guys doing their license with us when we did ours. As long as they become active guards and they are, registered in South Africa and they're working with a work visa, all the correct T's and C's apply for that thing, then yes, they could become an outfitter if they buy property and do it the correct way. But if he's based overseas and he's coming out here, he will be using another outfitter's license to sign, to have the legal documentation for the hunt and the legal documentation for those animals that you've hunted to be exported. So keep that in mind. Another one where I say wannabe outfitters is a lot of PHs try to go out on their own, but they haven't done all the legal stuff to do so. So they haven't registered as an outfitter. One, they've either not been in the game for long enough to go and register as an outfitter, and they don't have a lodge that they can use or available to them to use so they can be an outfitter. So they often say they're outfitters, they book clients, and then when it comes to exporting those trophies, they're running around looking for outfitters to sign the final documentation. So guys, this is where you have to really be careful of who you book with, because if you haven't got a registered outfitter to sign that final document for your trophies to go to the taxidermy to be exported, your stuff isn't leaving the country. And that is very, very important. And you got to make 100% sure that the guy that you book with is up to scratch, is a valid outfitter, so you can get those hard-earned trophies that you've hunted back with you to America or wherever you are in the world. I know I refer to America a lot, guys, because that's probably 95% of our market. I could be wrong there, but from my experience, I hunt with a lot of Americans. So the thing with having these outfitters or agents, and like I say, most of the stuff I talk about is from personal experience. When I was a young freelance guide, one of the things that problems we ran into was when a marketing agent, booking agent sent clients out, there was often disputes regarding prices, price list, packages, where now, unfortunately, at these companies, you as the poor PH have to deal with this nonsense, because some of these places, like the ones I hunted at, the outfitter never even bothered to meet the client. And that's why I said, if you've watched my previous episode on Stalking Shadows podcast. It's about the cogs that run the industry, and your biggest key component through it. And if you want to go watch that one, is your professional hunter. He does a lot more than just guide your client to shoot quality animals. He almost ends up being the outfitter, while the outfitter sits comfy at his house while you're raking him in his money. So the thing that we dealt with was that clients would rock up with a different price list to the price list that the outfitter has given you to work off of. So my tip for the young guides out there is, you'll soon realize when you are hunting in a company is, one, ask the outfitter if this is a guy that's booked at a show, or is he booked over the internet with you, or is he been sent by an agent. Eventually you start getting to know these agents that are booking for the company, and you'll see the clientele that he books and how they come and what they've been sold. And that was one of the biggest things we dealt with, was the price list not being the same. I even had a client whip out a price list in the pickup, and it was like $100 cheaper on everything than what I was having to use, because at the end of it, it becomes an argument and a fight, because you've been told by the outfitter these are the price lists, and he's rocked up with the agent's price list, which is cheaper, and now the outfitter isn't there to deal with it. So as a young guy, just find out before, and just also say to the guy, hey, has this guy got his own price list? If he does, please give it to me, so when I do the paperwork at the end of it, we are all on the same page and no one's upset. And the other thing that happens with these agents is they often sell to sell hunts. They don't give the poor client the full understanding of what they're buying, or explain to them what the full experience would be when hunting these things. And the one particular agent that we had loved selling cull hunts. And I've mentioned this before on a podcast. Guys, cull hunts are extremely difficult to hunt if you don't come and hunt them at the correct time of year. So these agents are selling the cull packages because they're dirt cheap. It's an easy way to hook somebody to come and hunt 10, 12 animals on a 5 to 7 day safari, and it's dirt cheap, but it's extremely difficult for the PH when they get here, because if they're buying them at the wrong time of the year, when all the females are running around with little babies, it's very difficult to hunt, because now you're not culling, you're actually selective hunting. So it becomes more difficult than actually hunting a trophy package. And at this specific company, the difference between a cull package and a trophy package, I think, was a whopping $500 or $600 at the time. So I had a buddy, they're buddies of mine now. They were conned into buying a cull package, and what they were sold was that all female animals in Africa have horns, so there's no point in shooting the male animals. Rather go out there and shoot more animals if you enjoy shooting, then go and hunt trophies, which are more expensive. And that's not the case, guys. This basic cull package was a kudu cow, which has got ears. You're not going to take the ears home as a trophy. A blue wildebeest cow, which has got horns. Then it was, I think it was 2 blesbuck, 2 impala. The blesbuck have got horns. The impala haven't got horns. That's just another ear photograph for you. And I think there were 2 warthogs in it. So that was the cull package. And I'm like, out of this whole thing, you're going to take 1 or 2 flat skins back. You'll get a warthog skull. We're going to be culling, so we're not going to be shooting the big females either. It's going to be, these young pigs, so not going to be much tusk to them. So at the end of the day, it's not really a great package to buy if you're actually wanting to take something home to remember your trip by. Yeah, if you're going to take a couple of photographs, maybe it's for you. But then again, it's the time of the year that these hunts are run, and the agents don't stipulate. They're just selling packages. And I think it sucks when there's an agent just trying to make money on his commission base to sell these packages, and he actually hasn't thought about your experience when it comes to hunting in South Africa. So, in my opinion, Make sure you find out when you're doing your cull. Get all of your outfitter. The best time for culls, guys, would be your August month, because with our law, our government law, we hunt June, July, and August for most species on low fence properties. So that's where you get your most hunting in. And the reason why they stay females only in the months of August, it would be because by that stage, most of the lambs and kids are old enough to fend for themselves. So hence the reason you can shoot the odd female. It's a much easier time. Coming at the beginning of before that is a very tricky time. They're going to be some extremely small babies, and you're going to have the issue of maybe finding females that are still pregnant, which is an extremely tough one for your PH to go and sort through 100 Impala to make sure that you shoot the correct one. Yes, there are PHs out there that are just there to do their hunt, so they'll shoot the first one standing left or right of the herd, and whether it's got a baby or not, it's not on him because he's not the outfitter. He doesn't think of the end cycle, so the conservation is tossed out the window as well, because at the end of the day, he's just wanting to fill your tags so you're happy at the end of your hunt and leave. But I think we got to look longer and harder into this whole process, because at the end of it, we are still conservationists at heart, and most hunters will understand the conservation process and will want to make sure that there are more animals to hunt in the foreseeable future. So yeah, that's my issue with agents and a cull package. The other issue with agents is when it's all miscommunication or misinterpretation, and it's the rifle hire story. Rifle hire, I've mentioned also previously, is, guys, it's your professional hunter's weapon that you'll be using when you come out to hunt your safari. So make sure that you respect his stuff. The agents are selling that you can use whatever rifle when you get there. It's easier to fly without your weapons. Yes, it is, guys. I'm not saying don't come and not use the rifle hire to your advantage. It is so much easier. Literally packing for a trip, you basically pack a carry-on. The laundry is all done for you when you get here. You don't even need to check luggage. Bring your binos, bring your stuff, all in a backpack, and you should be fine for a 10-day hunt, because you can pack enough clothes in there to cycle you out for every 3 changes of clothes, because the laundry gets done daily for you guys when you are here. So you save yourself the issue, and then you can hire a rifle, but you will hire your PH's rifle. The bugger that comes in with the agents is he will tell the client a fee for rifle hire, and us as professional hunters will receive a fee that we can charge from the outfitter, and then there will be the fee on the paperwork. And this specific incident happened with me. It actually wasn't even my client. It was another PH's client in camp, and he was a bow hunter. He couldn't get anything with his bow. He wasn't having any luck. And the PH suggested to him, "Bud, you're running out of time. Let's change to a rifle. Hire my rifle, because we need to get you some animals. Otherwise, you're going to leave the safari with no animals on your tags." So he pulled out his paperwork from the agent, and the daily rate was like $10 less than what us as professional hunters were willing to hire our rifles for. And he had also stipulated that ammunition was included. So when the PH gave him the actual fee and the ammo fee, he was like, "No, this is my paperwork." Then when they pulled up the outfitter's fee, it was on the website. It was incorrect because the website was so outdated, which created a bit of havoc in this scenario. And the clients end up getting unhappy. There's no outfitter there to deal with the situation, and the poor PH gets the nonsense all landed on him, where he shouldn't be dealing with this. Everything should be cut and dry, black and white. So when you come out here for your safari, you are fully aware of what you are liable for and what the outfit is liable for, that there are no dramas or issues when it comes to hiring of weapons. And unfortunately, at this place, the agent was a bit of an ass, and he messed up a lot of hunting for great PHs at this specific place, because I think he was a bit of a compulsive liar. And the reason why I'm going to say this is often clients went home and they filled out a hunt report sheet at the end of it. So the outfitter made us give clients this hunt report sheet. They filled it out and then we'd have to submit it back to the outfitter. Seeing as the outfitter never came there, it was great for him to get this paper review basically from outfitters and it was from clients, and it was one way for him to vet whether he would use the PHs again, because we're all freelancers. So when you finished a hunt and there was a great hunt report sheet, you knew you were kind of guaranteed to get another hunt. So this agent often had complaints about the professional hunters. But I think the reason why he was doing it, he was complaining on behalf of the clients and he was hoping to get some form of kickback or a free this or a free that when he comes out, just to, make him feel better because his clients were so upset with the poor quality of the PH, which was absolute bullshit, because I had a hunt report sheet. I handed it to my boss or outfitter at the time. There was nothing bad about me in the thing. A week later, I get a crappy message from the outfitter saying that I didn't want to hire my rifle. The client was upset. I had a lot of issues when there was this and that. And I'm like, that is utter bullshit. What did the hunt report sheet say? No, it was great, but this is coming via the agent. And yeah, he was a French Canadian guy, so that says a lot there, straight up. And I said, but it's impossible. Myself and the client, it's such a great hunt. We had such a great, we were like buddies. Like we just really hit it off well. And we listened to country music in the truck, and we were, we had such an absolute joy. And I was taken aback with the way the outfitter was questioning what I had done. And I knew I'd done my job well. I knew the hunt report was good. But this agent was spewing so much nonsense about me to the outfitter. And it was almost like that, okay, you got one more hunt left with us. It's too close to cancel. You will do this hunt, and then Wayne, you better find your way, because we can't have you hunting with this agent's clients. And I'm going, I did nothing wrong, buddy. But anyway, I will do this hunt. When I went to go and collect the next group of clients' documentation, who I'm picking up at the airport, we had to go to the outfitter's house and go pick up a file which stated who we were picking up, what was the airline, where, what, and then what his package was, so we could fill out all this documentation at the end of the hunt, because the outfitter was too lazy or useless to get there to come and deal with his clients and meet his clients. He gave me another parcel, and I was like, hey, this is the guy who you said had such a terrible hunt. Why is he sending me a parcel all the way from Canada to you, addressed to me? So it was a big parcel. So I said to the outfitter, I said, clearly this guy wasn't that upset that he's sending me a gift. This has got to point out what I've been saying all along. This agent is not giving you straight up information. So I opened the parcel up from the client, and in the parcel was a bunch of country music CDs that, you see, I'm old guys, we were listening to CDs back then, that him and I were listening to, and we were talking about our favorite country artists, and there was Brad Paisley in there was Alan Jackson, there was, Brooks and Dunn, and he'd sent me a whole lot of stuff that I didn't have. He sent a beautiful blown up photograph of myself and him behind his magnificent kudu that we had hunted. And then he had to send me a picture of his pickup, because he says, we play with toy cars in Africa. They've got real pickups in Canada. The pickups are much bigger than ours. And that's what he used to tease me about, my dinky toy truck that we're hunting in. Does that sound like a disgruntled client who would send you all of this stuff from Canada? Um, and I said to the outfitter, I said, if this was an upset client, why has he sent me this awesome package to thank me for the trip that he had? You need to look into your agent. Your agent's costing you really, really good professional hunters because he's blatantly lying to you about the experience his clients are having. Yes, there may have been a guy in the amongst the bunch that wasn't up to scratch or standard, but you as the outfitter shouldn't be taking the full advice or information from this agent. He wasn't there when the hunt was conducted. So that's my experience with agents in a freelance situation. Guys, there are good agents out there. They're ex-clients that do it really well and will be absolutely honest with whoever they're wanting to send your way. But as I say, always do your homework. I don't deal with agents anymore. I had a guy who was my agent, also a Canadian guy, and he really, really dropped the ball, cost me a lot of money, put me in a lot of debt, and kind of sunk my business that I had to take up another job to try and get myself back on track. But one thing I didn't do was default with my landowners. That kept me a good name in the industry, that I can pick up the phone tomorrow and go and hunt at any of these places because I was upfront with my landowners to say, listen, I'll pay, make sure you paid up in full, as the agent has not paid me. So this is why I don't deal with agents, and I don't want to be negative about agents, but what I do in my company is any person who refers a client to come and hunt with me, and it's a booked hunt where it's a confirmed book hunt, the guy's coming out, I will give that guy a discount on his trip when he comes out again, to make sure that it's fair and he's happy and I'm happy. That is how I do it, because I can't give money value for it, because every cent counts in a small business like mine. But when he comes out, I can discount his trip to the best of my ability and a fair rate that we have discussed upon. Yes, guys, it's warm in here. Excuse me. I'm sweating my butt off. But so that's some things to look into and think about when booking with agents. It's probably better off that you book directly with the outfitter. But as I said, there are really great agents out there. Don't, be deterred by using guys. But also the best way to vet anyone is by somebody coming to hunt out here. Hunt with a company that a friend of yours has hunted with, because he's going to give you the honest feedback. He's not trying to book you to make money. And I think that's where I'm trying to, shed light on agents. If he says I'm a booking agent for this, remember he's getting paid. So it's his job. He's got to book you to make money for the year, whatever the case may be. So that is about, beware of the dodgy outfitters, beware of the dodgy agents. Have a look into the companies that you work with, and just do your homework. One topic I want to touch on here, and I'm not going to dive into it too much, because a lot of people have done the whole tipping debacle of tipping your PHs, your trackers, your lodge staff. There's some great guys out there that have done a full breakdown of this. This is not a breakdown, episode where I'm going to break it down, what you need to pay and whatever. I'm just going to put the basics in there. Again, one, talk to your outfitter. Make sure you've chatted to him up front before you come out there, so you know who to tip. Tipping at the end of the day, guys, is super important in our industry, because we don't earn a lot of money as a guide. As I've explained in the previous podcast, we carry a lot of expenses and we really do rely on those tips. Our trackers and skinners really do rely on those tips. Remember, this is seasonal work, so the The tips are super, super, super important. I myself have been given the golden handshake, as we call it as guides, at the end of a safari. I think I've received 2 golden handshakes in my time as a guide, and one very, very piss poor tip from a grumpy client. But he was just a grumpy ass. His son was awesome. His son looked after me, and we had a great trip. But he was just a very grumpy old dude. Shot all his stuff, but just grumpy as that. So the thing with getting the golden handshake, it's terrible as a guide to receive one, because you go out your absolute way to make sure that you conduct yourself properly in a professional manner and hunt your ass off for your client when you're out here. And if you get given a handshake at the end of it, it really is a slap in the face. I myself, I'd rather have the client tell me I was a shit PH and tell me that my ability sucked and I didn't do a good enough job, so hence the reason my tip is 10 cents. You know what I mean? I'd far rather have the client be upfront with, then instead of going, thank you very much, we've had a wonderful time, shake my hand, climb in the truck, I drive him all the way to the airport, expect to get a tip at the airport instead of at the lodge, and again he grabs his bags, he shakes my hand, awesome time, and hops off and cheers. When you've done your absolute utmost to serve his needs on a trip, and hunted to the best of your abilities with the properties available to you because of the outfitter. Because a lot of the time, unfortunately, the professional hunter gets it in the neck for poor hunting because the outfitter has poor grounds to hunt on or insufficient quota. And this is where the poor PHs get it all the time. And I've said this around the campfire with a bunch of outfitters and professional hunters around me, and I'm quite outspoken and I'm honest, and I say it all the time. And one outfitter stood there and said, guys, where are all the quality professional hunters? We have got an issue here in South Africa where the quality of professional hunter has dropped, in my opinion, because it's not as, it's not when I went and did my PH license, you were quite regarded as like an elite, hunter, athlete, if you want to call it, and you took pride in what you did. But then it became so commercialized and they were pumping out professional hunters left, right and center. You kick a bush and a PH will fall out with his Hilux Bucky and his Jack Russell. And then you kick the next bush and then there's a new outfitter. But what I said to this outfitter at the fireplace, I said, you will only have quality professional hunters if you have quality grounds to hunt on. Because it's easy to be a good PH when you're hunting a place that is fully stocked and loaded for your trip and safari, and you have got ample amount of game to pick through to hunt quality species. And then that's a guy who's got his lodge and his outfitting business and his farm set up, stocked, and it's easy to hunt on. Then you are grade A PH. The really, really good PHs out there will be able to be put in any situation on multiple properties and still retrieve or gain some success in their hunt. If you take those guys that hunt in too many of those places and put them in a tricky situation, or at the end of season when game is scarce, they are the PHs that struggle, and these are the guys that people turn around and go, the quality of PH is no good. But it's because he's been hunting so much in a full farm where it's easy to hunt, and when you put him in a tricky situation, he can't think out the box for himself. He's a little bit stuck. The quality of animal becomes junk because he can only find that quality. So, unfortunately, like I say, the poor PH gets it in the neck when the outfitter hasn't done his job properly. So hence the reason the conversation about tipping and golden handshakes. Look, guys, tipping is a form of appreciation to your professional hunter in the fact that he has done his job well. If he has done his job poorly, absolutely poorly, and he was an absolutely shit guard and you couldn't get on with him and he wasn't trying his best for you, mention it to the outfitter before you leave, have a conversation with him, and then tip him accordingly. If he was worth nothing, then by all means give him the golden handshake. But there is no professional hunter out there that is worth nothing. So be fair when it comes to this. Again, outfitters stipulate minimum requirements or minimum tip rate, daily rate. Some outfitters will say 10 or 15% of your final bill. Some will say 10 or 15% of your final package is what's right for a PH tip. Some will give you a rate of $100 a day. I think that rate of $100 a day, dude, was when I started out way back in 2009. It's been $100 a day. Guys, inflation, reality, life, everything's way more expensive now. You can't still be harping on that $100 a day as your tip. Think of what effort goes into it and what your professional hunter is putting out on the table for you to conduct this hunt. And again, when you're doing a plains game hunt, tip accordingly to that, to a dangerous game hunt. The PH who's putting his life on the line to make sure that you shoot quality dangerous game, he deserves a quality tip, guys, because at the end of the day, you shouldn't tip him the same as what you've done on a plains game hunt. So make sure that you are fair in your tipping. Again, the trackers work long hours. Make sure you tip accordingly for those guys sitting up there late in the evenings, skinning off your trophies, getting to bed late and waking up with a smile the next morning to hunt with you again. You are a super important part in his lifestyle and for him to make a living for his family. So just just be thoughtful of the guys that are out there working hard. Lodge staff, if they look after and your rooms are clean, by all means tip them. Front of the house, the lady who is running the show and checking on the lodge staff and making sure that all your needs are there. That's another person to look after. So just be fair when you tip. If it's a great service, go the extra mile. In South Africa, we don't have a tipping culture like you guys have in America where even your guys' tips are added to your bill, when you eat out. With us, we tip, accordingly, and it's normally when you go out, it's between 10 and 20% depending on, who you are and how great the service was. And so treat it like that. If your service is excellent, tip accordingly. If you are spending thousands of dollars on a hunt, you must understand your PH is as of quality to do that hunt because he has been picked by the outfitter to do that hunt with you. So he's worth his weight in gold. So yeah, just be fair to the guys, respect them, and the guys will go out of their way to look after you and make sure that you have a trip of a lifetime. We are hardworking South African guys wanting to just be out in the bush and share every bit of knowledge that we have of the South African bush and of the South African industry. So guys, I hope you're enjoying these. If you really are enjoying them, please hit the like and subscribe button. Follow us on Spotify and on Apple Podcast. It goes a long way if you just click that little bell icon and hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and it gets me motivated to share more about my experiences in the industry to help you and educate you guys on your first trip to South Africa and a trip of a lifetime. So till later, guys. Cheers.